Alright guys, so Mercury does station retrograde on April 1st, 2024. Happy April Fool's Day because we are in between eclipses and we have our first retrograde of the year. I'm not even one to typically hype up Mercury retrograde because it's just part of the planetary cycles. This one is definitely one to pay attention to. It's not inherently bad, but it's just interesting. So Mercury stations retrograde in the sign of Aries on April 1st in between eclipses, and then Mercury will join the total solar eclipse on April 8th in a loose conjunction. Backing up just a little bit, we know that Mercury in Aries is very, I don't want to say impulsive, but impulsive is definitely a word that could come to mind when we think about Mercury in the sign of Aries. This is like our mind moving extremely fast. And whenever we are in a retrograde cycle of a planet, this is all of the words: review, reevaluate, rewind, relax, renew, reunite, etc., etc. So really what this retrograde is telling me is that it's time to pump the brakes, not hit the gas. Mercury transits tend to shift our perception, our understanding, our view, or our communication, or our conversations. So when we have a retrograde in the sign of Aries, Aries is ruled by Mars, and that represents our desires or our instinctual desires. So there's something here about pumping the brakes on our desires or something that we feel that we need to take action on and pumping the brakes a little bit. Now, I'm not saying to not do anything for 3 weeks. This is most likely something that has occurred as an impulse that you want to take action on since the beginning of Aries season. And with the conjunction to the total solar eclipse, which is with Chiron, there is a potential for extremely healing conversations. We have the ability to heal our mind as well as our connections with others through the art of communication. We're kind of rewiring our existing communication and thinking habits. So it's not necessarily asking you not to make any moves at all, but it's asking you to kind of slow down and be sure that you're approaching your desire or the action that you want to take in the proper way so that it can be regenerative or healing in some way. Mercury in Aries is also very much of an assertive or a truth sayer type energy. So there could be something here about establishing our boundaries or practicing asserting ourselves in appropriate situations or in refined ways, different than we have approached situations like that before. What I found interesting when I was going through this Mercury retrograde is that Mercury stations direct on April 25th on top of the North Node. And as you know, we have had several conjunctions to the North Node while Mercury is retrograde. Venus will conjunct the North Node. We will also have that total solar eclipse that we talked about and we will go over in future videos. But I just find it interesting that Mercury, of all the degrees in Aries, stations right on top of the North Node that we've been having all this action on. We also had the Chiron and North Node conjunction. So it's just interesting to kind of think about. There is emphasis on North Node Aries, as always. So be sure to check and see where you have Aries in your birth chart, which house is ruled by Aries, and where about 27 degrees to 15 degrees of Aries is particularly. And if you have planets or points in the cardinal signs, that is Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, this Mercury retrograde could be affecting you just a little bit more, but be sure to look at your whole chart for context. But happy Mercury retrograde and happy eclipse season, guys. Don't miss the total solar eclipse on April 8th. We're going to be covering that in future videos. And you know they're trying to ban TikTok, so go check out my YouTube and my Instagram for personal readings. You can email me or shoot me a DM. I love you.